So this is on Natural News, and this is Mike Adams. He did an article today on dishonest Democrats and what they're trying to do to ruin us and to assure they never lose and to take away every single thing that was in place that they put in before, which was a really big trick and a lie because they were always rigging elections. So people that knew about rigged elections in the past that complained, oh, they put some voter ID in a couple of states and they put in, questions about illegal voting and whatever in a couple of places where they knew it wouldn't matter to make it look as though there was any kind of a legitimate election and a balance of power. And what they're doing now that they know they're losing everybody is they're scarier than ever because they're trying to remove every single piece of a potential loss ever again. And this is what I keep trying to tell people. They're proposing radical changes to our voting system. And this is all researched by Mike Adams. So they're changing a thing called HR1. And what they do with these types of things is they make bills that they think no one looks at and they sneak them back in while you're watching videos all over the map and not doing your job. You need to write to senators. You need to write to Congress, everybody, because this is what they're doing. And guess what? We don't have leaders on any side. We have one stupid party of babies in Pampers running our government. And I can't tell people enough how scary this is. It's even more obvious with this shutdown, and I'm going to get into in a minute why Trump doesn't call an emergency and that he's doing the right thing by not doing it. But let me show you what they're up to. They want to change the laws to secure power. They want Americans to have no say in our elections. So everybody needs to read this article and understand what they're up to. And he did all this research and this work. Now, there's even one Democrat that's saying she will vote for barriers on the wall, and they must be giving her hell because she said that. And she can't even say it all the way like a wall, but she said, I will vote for some money for physical barriers. And what they keep having to do is change the language because the idea of a wall is just so terrifying to the trafficking industry. And there's even an article out that some people along the border want to sue Trump for building a wall. So think of the money they must be being paid because they have land at the border and help with trafficking and drugs and looking the other way. And the reason that we're having this huge war within our own country is money and power. Okay? And then you have Lindsey Graham, who we finally thought had a backbone, and he's depressed because Trump wouldn't pull what he calls the nuclear option, and call it emergency and whatever. Now, the biggest power that President Trump has to expose every single weak person inside of our government on both sides, the fact that they get these gigantic paychecks and won't work, is to have it shut down. If he ends up declaring a national emergency, a liberal judge will take over, and the liberal judge will halt the closure because it takes it from the power of Trump and puts it into the power of courts. Now, we watched them do that with the travel ban. We watched them do that with dismantling Obamacare. And we watched them dismantle going into the DACA. Trump did an executive order to declare it all unconstitutional, and every single liberal judge jumped in and stopped it. His power is to stay shut down, period. because if he hands it back to everybody, they will spend 2 years doing this and fighting it all in court. And all of those things, they have to go through the circuits. They have to be first put in front of a district federal court and get dismissed or denied. And then they have to go to the middle court, which would be the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And then they finally make their way to the Supreme Court. So every coward and useless tool that we have in government, men and women, and it doesn't matter any of their beliefs, they are useless and powerless, and they will not do their job. None of them. And this shows up on both sides. And they keep whining and crying, well, we passed bills, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And they can't do anything because they want to leave. Every single one of them likes to pass the buck, but get their buck. So in the meantime, they're letting time and time go by, and they're announcing all of the people that they want in for 2020 when absolutely none of them will work, and they all want to have the power of the political office. So Trump needs to do exactly what he's doing and pretend he's going to call this emergency and not, because at this point, it's showing up every single one of them. It's showing them as ineffective and unable to do anything. And the fact that even the new supposed backbone, controlled Senate can't do anything. And that's ridiculous. And so what are you going to do? What you do is you just let it wait. And everybody has to get out of the panic that they're in. They're in a panic because it's on their shoulders right now. And what they want to do, and what they've always done in the past, is pass it to the courts and leave it up to a judge. And we do not have enough constitutional judges yet to safeguard all of this. And what they would do was declare that there's no emergency, and then continue trafficking and continue letting everything pour in. What Trump's two cards are to shut down the border itself, and then just continue to force the government shutdown until they do something. And he's basically, what's happening now is they're feeling the effects of our ineffective government. And he's doing the exact right thing. In the meantime, there are absolutely no laws, everybody, not a single law inside the United States in our Constitution or any amendments that prohibits these illegals from getting in. So what he stated in his office, and if you're paying attention to him, he stated, we're keeping it shut down, and I am forcing immigration law change now. And that's exactly what he has to do, because even with the wall, there can be a gigantic influx that if they get to the door of our new wall illegally, what they can do is get in here, get a fake claim for asylum, and then get put on benefits. And so Trump is again holding firm to save our country. You all need to know that Democrats and Republicans would allow up to 70,000 deaths. How many pounds of cocaine, crack, drug, fentanyl, and whatever to continue to flow through this border because they are too stupid and too cowardly on all sides to stop the money generated from trafficking. And that's what this is about. It's absolutely disgusting. But nobody should be pushing Trump because you're listening to these idiots try to leave it onto Trump. They're too cowardly to do it, and they're so dumb they don't have a single ounce of foresight that if he does that, because they're so stupid, then it's going to end up in the courts. The government will reopen, and we will have 2 more years of death, trafficking, and everybody coming in that does not have a right to be here. So he's in the ultimate position, and I'm so proud of him for finally figuring it out. And all of you need to stop listening to our fake, weak leaders that can't get anything done or passed. And by the way, we still need to pressure all of our Senate and all of our Congress to start looking for a new judge because they are targeting Ruth Ginsburg. I have no idea what is if she's alive or dead. I don't trust anybody. I don't believe any fake news. But you finally have her doctor warning that she's got a severe illness and they're trying to force her back to work. We don't even know what the truth is. Nobody has seen her. I don't deal in any kind of speculation at all. All I know is that if she just had surgery, she does not belong back at work, and everyone needs to try to have the dignity, whether you like her or not, to allow her to retire and take care of her remaining health in whatever it is. But these people care more about abortion and Roe versus Wade, and that's what she means, that they would take her in a hospital bed into court to sign. And that is the sickest thing that I've ever seen. But this is the Democratic Party. So whatever's going to end up happening to her and her position, they are trying to prevent and disable anybody from putting in a constitutional judge because they know what it means. However, no one has the right to force somebody this old and ill to go back to work. And so everyone needs to get onto this article that Natural News did and Mike Adams and read, because it's only when you see things that you cannot unsee that you grasp the gravity of what these people are doing. So the best power that's in here is that Trump isn't going to sign any of these bills. He's not going to let anybody do anything. He is getting the wall built. And that will change the game for every single thing in the future. But everybody needs to become aware of how sick they are and what they're up to, because we thought we had seen it all. We haven't even had a dress rehearsal. They are in overdrive trying to destroy this nation. Now, I'm going to put the link to this inside here for everybody to see. But you all need to stay awake, do your homework, write an email. It takes 2 seconds to write an email to your senator and say, we want the wall and we want voter ID laws. And by the way, I Googled to see if there were any new petitions on voter fraud and voter laws. They've all been canceled. It wasn't just mine. Mine was actually succeeding. They were just taking money from everybody, and I didn't like it because that money goes to the enemy. But any petition that's been there, they have tried to make sure it doesn't go through. So actually, instead of worrying about voter fraud, we need to harp on our Congress and our senators and make them work. And Trump is going to work on immigration. We need to work on voter protection, because once you read this article, everybody, you're going to understand in most of the states in this country, your vote does not even count. So don't cry to me if you don't do anything to help along our right to vote. I've been telling people this for 5 years or 4 years, whatever I've been on here. And our votes do not matter, but they are a sick group of people. Our government is completely sick and deranged, and they are criminal people that get into power, and they sell out the United States and the state that they represent and every single person in between. And they want to make sure that they get back in power, because now that they've been found out, they can't lie about Republicans. They need to lie about themselves. And we need to understand it's evil on both sides, but we have more power and more of a voice with the way Trump made the Republican Party have more dignity and actually more freedom than the fake Democrats, which do not stand for democracy. Thank you.